Hey there, welcome to the Fireside. My name is Jake, and this is an all-new episode of... Come on. 3 minutes to better tattooing. So today I wanted to talk about starting tattoo designs. What do you do first? How do you get off on the right foot? How do you kind of keep your own unique mark making and not just copy, reference, and hodgepodge things together to create a design, but to do something that's authentic and interesting. And you might know, if you've been following this channel for any period of time, that I'm a big proponent of thumbnailing. I like to iterate really quickly, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, and just work out my kind of major shapes and how they sit on the body as quickly as I can, just with super basic shapes. What I've found, particularly over the last couple of months since we've launched our new Fireside Simplify course and we've been working alongside some of the folks who are going through the modules, is that a lot of people don't thumbnail. They've just never done it before. They're not really sure what they're solving for. So I thought I might kind of approach it from a different point of view. Instead of thumbnailing, do a more rendered finished drawing, and instead of doing 4 or 5 or 6 versions, just do one version, but solving for the same types of problems that I would solve for in a series of thumbnails, if that makes any sense. So let's cut over here real quickly and let me show you a piece that I'm working on right now and kind of how I decided to start the piece. So this is a full chest piece that's going to be a peacock. And I kind of wanted to establish a flow across the client's chest early on, just before I even started thinking about the shapes that make up a peacock. I just wanted to think about how it was going to move across her chest. Was it going to be symmetrical? Was it going to be asymmetrical? How was I going to balance the light and dark kind of areas? How was I going to address the existing tattoos that are on her shoulder that would be visible in the same plane as my tattoo? How's it going to sit on her chest as it relates to her neck? I know she didn't want a piece going up her neck, but how is it going to look with a V-neck shirt on, or a swimsuit or something like that? I wanted to kind of solve for those things early on before I got too caught up in the details of a peacock. So a lot of times what I'll do in that case is I'll just take a big soft airbrush on Photoshop or on Procreate, and I'll just paint over the entire area that's going to be tattooed, and then I'll come back in and I'll draw with my eraser. Now, I haven't looked at any images of a peacock yet. I'm not even really that concerned about that. I'm just trying to establish that flow, the positive and negative relationships, trying to figure out what the balance is, how I want the piece to move. And so within probably 10 or 15 minutes, I had this basic layout, this kind of design, and I was pretty happy with it. And so what this did was it allowed me to, once I saw how the shapes were moving, what the flow kind of looked like, it told me kind of where the body of the peacock might be most useful or have the most impact, like what direction the head might face. So because I had all this stuff coming, all this sweeping stuff kind of coming from her right side across over to her left side, I decided to kind of counter that and pull the body and head of the peacock back from the other side, so that I had this kind of flow established, and then I'm breaking the flow or kind of fighting against the flow a little bit, just to create a little visual tension. So let me show you real quickly what I ended up doing after this initial layout. I went through, once I had this kind of overly rendered thumbnail, for lack of a better term, laid out, I went through and I started looking at peacocks, and I just came up with this as my kind of final rendering. So I did look at some actual photographs of peacocks after I had established the flow, and I decided to kind of fight back against that flow and have the body and the head kind of turned towards the center of her chest. And I don't think that I would have come up with this design if I had just started looking at references of peacocks and trying to focus on the body and the head of the peacock first. It was that kind of solving for the larger dark and light, simple shapes, and the flow of the design that kind of gave me the information that I needed to lay the peacock out in this way. And I'll show you, we've actually got a couple of sessions done on it, so you can see how it sits in real life. Or not a couple, we have one session done on it. This is after the first session, obviously no color yet, but I'm really happy with how the piece kind of like sweeps across her chest. I like how it sits lower below her neckline, so that she can wear something deeper cut if she wants to show it off, and then she can also hide it if she wants to hide it. I think that if you're not someone who has done a lot of thumbnailing, or who thinks in these more abstract kind of shapes, early on in the process, it would really benefit you to start thinking that way. Forget about the reference. Whatever the thing is that you're tattooing, forget about the thing and think about just the basic shapes that make up the thing. Or think about just the direction that you would like the tattoo to move across the body. Remember, the body is the one shape that we can't change. The shape of the body, the tattoos that are around it, those are the things that are what they are, and we have to work within those limitations. So a lot of times just forgetting about what it is that you're tattooing, squinting or letting your eyes blur a little bit, and just solving for the most basic positive and negative relationships is the best thing that you can do to create something that's unique and dynamic in a reasonable amount of time, and not being too dependent on all of the, on your Google reference and all that kind of stuff. By the time you get these basic shapes laid out, it'll help you to choose your reference more wisely. You may find that you don't really need that much reference at all, that you can kind of create your own image, whatever the image is, because these big positive and negative relationships do so much of the legwork on the front end. So that's it. That's all I got. If you want to follow the progress of this tattoo, I'll post updates as we finish it up on my Instagram at pluguglyart. If you'd like to learn more about thumbnailing, we actually have, I think for $7 or $9, we have thumbnail templates that I made several years ago for myself. All of the male areas of the body and female templates for both figures, arms, legs, backs, chests, all that kind of stuff that you can download and print to do your own thumbnailing, or you can pull into Photoshop or Procreate and lay layers on top of them and thumbnail. Also, if you'd like to check out Fireside Simplify, which is a more in-depth course that follows me through my entire tattoo process from consultation through the finished design or the stencil on the skin, you can learn more about that. I'll put a link to a video that will teach you more about Simplify. I'll also link to those thumbnail templates if you're interested in those. Thank you, as always, for supporting what we do, and we'll catch you next time.